This project is sponsored by Ace Hardware. Stop by your local Ace Hardware or visit Ace Hardware online for high-quality tools, hardware, and products. Ace, it's the helpful place. For quick tips, behind-the-scenes footage, giveaways, and to see what I'm working on right now, follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. In this episode, I'm going to make a signpost for this beautiful sign that my friend Eric from Make a Wood Sign made for me. And if you want to see how Eric made this sign, I'll have a link in the description. I'll also have a link in the description to the free plans for the signpost on my website. And if you don't need a signpost, you could always modify the post into a post that would hold a mailbox. Let's get to work. I'll get started on the signpost with treated 4x4s. And if you watch my show, you know that I always wear a good dust mask or a respirator. And that's something you should always do, but even more so when you're working with treated lumber. For the main post, I'm using an 8-foot long 4x4, and I'll measure up 2 feet, and that's where the decorative box will begin. The bottom 2 feet will be set in concrete when the signpost is installed. Measuring up from ground level, I'll make a mark at 64 inches for the top of the cross brace that will hold the sign. Now I'll hold the 4x4 at the line I've already drawn. Make sure that I'm right on that line and nice and square, and trace another line. Then I'll measure half the thickness of the 4x4 and use a circular saw to cut a lap joint in both the post and the brace. After making the relief cuts, I use a hammer to remove the bulk of the material and then a sharp chisel. A quick test fit of the lap joint, and then I'll remove the brace and get to work on the decorative box at the bottom of the post. For the decorative box at the bottom of the post, I'm using a product called AZEK. This is a kind of PVC plastic product. It's great for exterior use, but it is a little expensive. These were free because they are cut-offs left over from a job, and a friend gave them to me. As you can see, I'm cutting the AZEK a little heavy, and then I'm trimming it to size with a flush cut bit in the router. Next, I'll get to work on the face frames that will cover the 1/2-inch AZEK and create the flat panel. All the measurements for this project can be found in the free plans on the website post, and there's a link in the description. I'm using biscuits and 5-minute epoxy to build the face frames, and there is a special glue that you can use with AZEK, but for a small project like this, 5-minute epoxy will be fine. The first 2 face frames attached have only 1-inch wide stiles. The face frames I'm attaching now have 1 3/4 inch wide stiles, and that's to take into account the thickness of the material. When the last 2 face frames are attached, they create 1 3/4 inch stile on all 4 sides of the post. That may seem a little confusing, but when you look at the plans, it clears things up and makes sense. With the box finished, I'll get to work on the molding. And for the top of the box, I'm going to use this old router bit. It's kind of like a roundover. I'm not sure the name of it. It's just a router bit that I've had for a long time, and I really like it. After cutting the profile, I'll run the material through the table saw and use the offcut as the molding. At the bottom of the box, I'll use the 1/2-inch AZEK, kind of like a baseboard molding. And for the rest of the molding, including trimming out the flat panels, I'll use a chamfer bit in the router. As I'm making the molding, I'll hold it next to the project and make any design changes. Sometimes an eighth of an inch can make a huge difference in something like just the reveal of a piece of molding. Here you can see that I've got all the molding laid out on the project. I'm happy with the way it looks, and the next step is to attach it. Okay, well, I've finished boxing out the bottom of the post. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. And the top of the post, I have to cut the length, and I'm also going to add another brace, and that's what the sign's going to hang off of, because the sign is going to hang like this, facing the front of the road. To decorate the ends of the post, I'll use a simple 45-degree angle cut about halfway through the material. For the cross brace that will hold the sign, I'm using a 2x4, and I'm going to take about 1/8 of an inch off of each side, removing the roundover. Now I'll measure and mark to cut a half lap joint 1 inch deep. All right, that's going to be a nice snug fit. I don't need to knock it into place yet. What I'm going to do now is dress up the edge of the 2x4 with a chamfer bit in the router. Now I'm ripping another 2x4 at 2 inches, and I'm going to add this to the 2x4 brace that's holding the sign. This will add a little more support and strength. Now I'm ready to assemble the post, and I'm using 3-inch long deck screws, and I decided to add another support to the back of the post, and this is just a 2x4 with a 45-degree angle cut at each end. I'm going to hang the sign on heavy-duty eye hooks, and not only are the eye hooks very long, I'm also going to add 5-minute epoxy as a little insurance. Okay, well, I am really happy with the way the signpost turned out, and I think the sign looks fantastic. And a huge thank you to Eric at Make a Wood Sign. And definitely check out his channel. You can see how the sign was made. He's really talented and just makes beautiful stuff. A kind of a funny story. When my wife Laurel and I first bought this house, more than 20 years ago now, there was a sign out front that said Rolling Hills. And within 6 months of owning the house, the post fell over, the sign broke, and it's taken me this long to finally replace it. So my wife's really happy that it's finally done and it looks so good. So again, a big thank you to Eric. And don't forget, there are free plans to the signpost on my website. And like I said before, if you don't need a signpost, you can always modify this into a post for a mailbox. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Hey, what's up guys? I'm back with a big thank you to Ace Hardware. It's really great to have Ace Hardware on board supporting the show, supporting the channel. I think it's going to help bring the channel to the next level. And they were nice enough to send me a few of these Yeti tumblers. These things are really fantastic, and I'll be giving these away for the next couple of weeks on, probably a couple of weeks or months on my Instagram, because I have a few to give away. And I'm going to be doing all my giveaways on Instagram just because it's very simple to do giveaways on Instagram. It's easy to publish giveaways, announce giveaways, and direct message winners. So I hope that you'll follow me on Instagram, and I'll be giving away one of these Yeti tumblers once I post this video. So as always, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. To enter the giveaway, follow me on Instagram and leave a comment on the Yeti Tumbler giveaway post.